Crowd here to watch what could be a really, really dramatic 22 laps. Are we set for a third flag-to-flag race in fourth? Of course, the recent master of flag.
Difficult conditions is underway.
Well, he got away brilliantly from the middle of that front row. Could have a flyer from 30 on the factory Ducati, the race winner in Austria that will lead the race. He runs it a little bit wide. Marquez sweeps brilliantly back up the inside. Marc Marquez leads. Beautiful move by the Spaniard.
Yeah, up the inside of both on Marquez as they rush down between the trees, down to the first of the S sections. This is turn number 3. Also trying to get up the inside there and Valentino Rossi.
Vinales got away really, really well from the third row of the grid. They started 7th and 8th respectively. Dolly already up in the third, Vinales 4th, but already dropping back through the field. He's now been passed by Aleix Espargo and Pol Espargo. Rossi's dropping back through the field as well. Rossi, who started 6th, is outside of the top 10 now.
They're coming to the stadium section of the circuit. Marc Marquez leads the way. The soaking wet, tens of thousands fans on the hillside away to their right. And Marquez is pulling away at the front.
Are the Yamaha riders paying for their choice of that hard option rear tyre? They must be struggling to get heat into it, Dylan.
Michelin have just confirmed to me. I said Rossi doesn't have a line on his back tyre, and they said no, he has got that soft tyre in there apparently, because Marquez also doesn't seem to have a line on the tyre, but they also say it is the softer option one. I'm going to do some more digging.
Well, Rossi's having a shocker. He's back in 11th place now as the Italian. He's under pressure as well from Danilo Petrucci. I've never seen Valentino Rossi drop back through the field like this in a long, long time. He's really, really suffering out there.
Bottom end of the circuit through the Kevin Schwann's corner. They start the climb up into turns 11 and 12. Leads the way through a little river, a stream that runs across the track. Still very, very wet there. And it is dropping like a stone. The two Yamahas have had a nightmare first lap.
They have indeed. Off second on the grid, is already back in.
Oh, Rins has made another. Way too much. Rins has crashed out of a podium chance again. Wins it yet again. Can you believe it? A 4th scoring point in his Grand Prix career. He's going to have 4 successive races without troubling the point scoring places for him inside that factory Suzuki garage. Pressure ramping up big time.
Rossi is 12th. He did get passed by Petrucci. Scott Running's a man on the charge. Looks like he got up the inside of it, or was it Maverick Vinales? Not quite sure as they come through the final corner then to complete the first lap. It will be held station from 4th on the grid. Vinales 5th.
That is your top 10. Valentino Rossi across the line in 12th place. Through the spray, they race between the trees, down towards the first S's. Turn 3, it's in good nick in 2nd place.
Running up the inside of Vinales at turn number 3 then, so Scott running now up into 5th place. Valentino Rossi on the first lap was 4.1 seconds behind. Astonishing there from the Italian. He's already down in 12th place. Bikes being prepped, of course. Those bikes would start on rain tyres in case anybody had a problem on the warm-up lap, and they'll now be deciding what tyres to put in case it is a flag-to-flag race. Brilliant move up the inside of at turn number 9. Let's not forget Scott Redding, the British rider, was fastest in the wet warm-up session. It's been a disaster for the factory Yamaha team.
It's gone up the inside, takes the lead going into 13 as they go through there. Then Horsepower Hill, they call this. They race up towards turns 13 and 14.
Leads this race for the first time. This now means at some stage in the last 4 Grand Prix, he can stick at turn number 1. No, he can't. No, Vinales, quick check on the Yamahas. Rossi 11th, back in 13th. Quickest man on tracks in 4th at 2:10.010.
They race down the hill towards turn 5. The two Ducatis now lead the way. No, on the brakes. Sorry, into turns 3 and 4.
Costing his momentum. Oh! He's wiped them all out! Nels is down. Taken out 4 of the top 5. Wiped out there himself by a few years back. What an absolute shocker. He took out Vinales. All said and done. The only man he didn't take out was his teammate Marc Marquez, who's now leading the race.
Well, we thought there was friction. He's done him a favour, hasn't he?
Only that has gone. What a massive moment in the 2019 World Championship. Can you believe it? They're trying to get that bike out, and now I hope he's okay because he looked hurt. No. So you've got to say Fabio Quartararo is a rookie. That was a rookie mistake. Just far too aggressive on a cold tyre. A fair old whack.
Aleix Espargo 5th and Vinales 6th. Pol Espargo's having a good ride. He's the second of the independent riders there in 7th. Rossi's still there in 11th place.
I mean, looking at those lap times, he's got to be on a hard option rear, because that's about a 1.5 seconds, and that's what they normally say the difference is between the soft and the hard.
Exactly, and he was 4.1 seconds behind Marquez on the first lap. The guys at the front of this race are quite comfortably lapping in the mid-2:10s. Rossi's doing low 2:13s.
2.5 laps gone. They bottom out. Now they start climbing the hill once again, Dylan.
Sorry guys, yes, we've just now had a clarification that Michelin has said, sorry, yes, he is actually on the hard.
So it's just Rossi on the hard rear?
Yep, correct.
Well, what a gamble by the two Yamaha men.
Up the hill they come, the two Ducatis, as they did in Austria just a week ago, lead the way. But it's another Ducati, the youngest ever Grand Prix winner when he won the British Grand Prix at Donington Park in third place. Very much in the similar position they were in Austria in very different conditions.
Looking for revenge on his teammate. You know, he was the quickest man on track last time around, 0.3 of a second quicker. The questions you have to ask, runs a really wide line through the first corner.
Oh, Miller's gone down. He's had a big. Bagnaia has crashed out of the lead.
Point, Gavin, rare you see somebody crash there.
Higher wide did the Yamaha riders feel that they could make that hard rain rear tyre work, because they are losing chunks and chunks of time.
Races past. Marquez would try and break them up very early on because of his tyre choice.
Valentino Rossi was starting 8th, he's in 8th place at the end of the first lap. No big move from the 36-year-old at the moment. It's Mud that leads on this second lap. Already a second clear of the field. Valentino Rossi behind him. Now coming under pressure from Rossi. This is at turn 5. Well, pick it up, get the fat part of the tyre. Accelerate hard left now through turn 6, 4th gear. Still in 5th place. There's Marquez going through turn 7.
Yeah, through 7 and 8. That's exactly right. That's what they're telling Marc Marquez. Sun glinting off that familiar number 93 as he comes up the incline. And they flick it left with his very fast turn 11. He wants to break the field very quickly and very early on. That's what he's done. Because he is slightly worried, slightly I think being the right word, about how his rear tyre will be when it comes towards the end of the race. He's building up the sort of advantage and it probably won't matter.
Across the line to complete lap 4, probably with a 2.5 second lead. This is the aerial view of the battle for second. It is indeed a 2.5 second lead, holding second from, and Rossi still trying to get by for 5th place.
Would you expect, Dylan, for the Yamahas with that extra hard option to come strong towards the end of the race because it's all the just hard option people in front of them?
I think you certainly would. I think the main problem is they need to make sure that they manage that tyre, because you also don't know how the guys are going to be managing the hard. It also depends on what's going to happen with track temperature. Last
Massive high side! Monster high side for the world champion. Asking too much of the power. Goodness me, that was vicious. McPhee, John McPhee has gone down. There's that Joan been cooled down, and that hurt.
Well, this way, you've got to think that the Yamahas would have an advantage. You just don't know at which point that's going to kick in. It might be too late. The difference between those guys is on the medium front, Rossi on the hard front. So you'd imagine Rossi would definitely try and do so under the brakes. He should have a small advantage there.
Rossi really closing up though through that fast left-hander. Will Rossi have a look at the inside now at turn 12? Maybe a little bit too far back to attack on this lap. He is indeed.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to do the flick it left now through 14. They come over actually the start and finish over the finish line, actually still cranked over. Rossi all over the rear wheel and able to get through, yeah. Mistake there. Here comes Rossi. This time Rossi is through at turn 7.
Valentino Rossi, you can see they're already having big movement for rear tyres on the extra hard Bridgestone rear tyre. Of course, all of the riders in front of him are on the hard option, that's the softer option. So Rossi finally through, running in 4th.
Down towards turns 12 and 13. Tight, Rossi ready to make a move on towards turn 1 they come. So very close on, slightly worried, and Rossi now is beginning to lap considerably quicker than him, isn't he?
Marquez just dropped into the 140s there, you can see on that graphic on lap 14. Rossi running consistently in the 139s. Last lap was a 139.687. That's what helped him claw back those 0.3 of a second. And now to start lap 16, the gap down to 3.4 seconds. Rossi's taken another 0.3 out of Mark.
He'll find himself in major problems. If anybody can handle this situation, he can. And he looks like a man that really is on a mission at the moment, through 2, on towards 3 and 4. Keep an eye on those lap times. Rossi is on the charge, and he has a better choice of rear tyre as the race goes on and on.
Down into the braking zone for turn 5. Rossi just opening with a bit of a gap now. Down through the first 2 splits, down again to 3.1 seconds. Rossi edging ever closer.
Oh, what a race this is going to be. 9.5 laps to go. Rossi is clawing back the advantage, and he should have, well, he should have the advantage with that extra hard rear tyre. The gap again, well, actually, he's just pulled back 1/10 of a second there. Let's wait and see when they cross the line. Rossi's certainly got him in his sights now, in 3rd place. I wonder what the board is going to tell Valentino Rossi.
He's over the line now. Rossi comes over as well. 3 seconds is the lead. Valentino Rossi takes another 0.3 of a second. What be doing here? He knows he built up an advantage of over 4 seconds, so he might have just backed off slightly to try and manage his rear tyre, nurse it home to the finish. He has still got 3 seconds with 9 laps to go, so he might just have eased off his pace a fraction, just to, as we say, try and preserve the grip on that rear tyre.
He must have realised what the situation may be right from the word go, and that's why he went out so quickly. And it still is a big gap, 3 seconds, but Rossi, when he's on the charge like this, knowing he's got that advantage of that extra hard rear tyre, front tyre hard, rear tyre hard. Valentino Rossi, the big difference is their rear tyre. One on a hard, one on an extra hard, and you would think, logically, that the extra hard will last the race distance longer. There will be 5 laps to go when they cross the line. Rossi is going to be with him pretty quickly.
As the gamble by backfired, Rossi over the line, a new lap record from the Italian at 1:39.019. His fans cheer him on in the grandstands. Rossi now within 1.2 seconds. This is where he's so strong through that first sector. Rossi has dropped. Looks like it's going to be a shootout for the victory between, and that man there on the charge, Valentino Rossi.
36-year-old is riding like an 18-year-old on a track bike, isn't he? Amazing stuff from Rossi. At the moment, he made the choice of that hard rear tyre. Rossi said right from the word go he was going to go from the extra hard. He's got him in his sights. When is he going to have the first nibble at him? Knowing Rossi, he will go at him as soon as he possibly can.
Rossi found another 10th through the first sector on this lap 21. It's ahead of him as they plunge down the short downhill to turn 7. Pitches it right, going through 7 and 8. Rossi on a ride. We said he started 8th on the grid and won in Philippine, and he started 8th in Qatar and won. He's putting up a pretty good fight to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, he certainly is.
Guys, looking at the data from last race, with roughly 5 laps to go, this was the point when the guys on wearing tyres started to say, look, now I know how far it is to the end. Sorry, well, they know that anyway, but now they know that it's not so long, and we might see some of them start pushing. So let's keep an eye on Marc Marquez, whether there comes this point where he, say, pulls the trigger and says, now I don't have much left, now I can really burn the tyres up.
Not give this up without an enormous fight. You know that, 4 laps to go, Rossi in 2nd place. The gap now, 1.157 seconds. It's through that second split just to see the gap. He's got him in his sights, he's not quite close enough, you've got a glimpse there.
Checking the track temperature. Is that hard option rear tyre going to hold out for the victory? 4 laps to go. Valentino Rossi powers down the back straight. The gap now 0.6 of a second on the brakes into turn 5. Rossi as close as he's been all race.
Rossi's got him in his sights. There's the track temperatures all the way round. It's a lot hotter than it has been for the day so far. It's getting late. It's coming up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. The sun has only really come up in the last couple of hours. Made the choice of using the hard rear tyre, not the extra hard. Rossi, from the word go, said he was going to use the extra hard. Who has made the right decision? 3.5 laps will tell us.
Valentino Rossi has taken another 10th of a second out of the double world champion. Half a second now, the gap. Rossi almost right with, they come to complete lap 22.
Through the right-hander, flick it left over the start line, up towards turn 1. Rossi chasing his 2nd Grand Prix victory of the season.
We're on board with Valentino Rossi, who's just finally got out of the 2:13s. Rossi just did a 2:11.813, still 2 seconds off the pace of the race leader Andrea Dovizioso.
Rossi closing all the time.
Unbelievable performance by the 9 times world champion through the 2nd corner, with big moments at rear tyre twitching as he gets on the gas. Rossi now, this is through turns 3 and 4. Rossi now as they power down the back straight.
3 laps ago and an amazing Grand Prix of art. Will he have a go first time? I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. We ride with Rossi in front of him as they come down towards turn 5. He likes 7 and 8, and also Rossi for overtaking.
This is through turn 5, runs it over the curb on the inside. Valentino Rossi now within 0.3 of a second of the Spaniard.
Seconds don't matter anymore now, it's visual. You can see Rossi closed up down at turn 7.
What a recovery by Valentino Rossi. He said all along that he needed to race that extra hard rear tyre. Gambled, he rolled the dice on the grid. He came to the grid with that extra hard option. We thought he was going to race it. He switched at the last minute to that red banded hard option tyre. Has that been his crucial mistake? 2.5 laps to go. Rossi now right with.
Down at 12 and 13, when they crossed the line there would be 2 laps to go. We knew he wouldn't give up without a big fight. Rossi closes once again through 3 and 4. Can he get a slipstream? Try and get out of the slipstream on the brakes into turn 5. Here we go. 93 against 46. Rossi on the brakes. Rossi surely now will win to increase his lead in the World Championship. Listen to the crowd.
What a remarkable last couple of laps we've seen. What a remarkable 23 laps we've seen here.
He actually clipped the rear wheel, didn't he, of Rossi. Rossi into turn 1, past the Rossi grandstand, another second place. There is going to be an investigation by race direction on that incident.
Walks away. This is the moment of the race. A little bit too hot on the brakes. Rossi up the inside. Back of Rossi. Well, that was almost a carbon copy of the Zarco Simeon, I think.
Probably here Rossi closing up on him. Rossi does close on 13, flick it through 14. 2 laps to go with this extraordinary Grand Prix. Here comes Valentino Rossi. This may not be over yet.
Rossi's third,
and he's now closing up on his great friend. Is he going to spoil the British party?
If Crutchlow doesn't make a mistake, the only man that can beat him is going to be Rossi, because the cover on those softer rear tyres, they're really struggling. Rossi's got the same tyre combination, or certainly the same rear tyre. How close Rossi's got to him. Rossi smells blood. He can see Crutchlow disappearing off into the distance. If he wants to win this Renault Grand Prix, 20 years after taking his first ever Grand Prix victory here in Renault, he's got to get away through.
Rossi trying absolutely everything as they come through turn 9. Race down now towards the bottom end of the circuit, turn 10.
And Rossi just didn't come through the 4th sector with 4 and a bit laps to go. Is 4.7 seconds. Did Rossi just leave it a fraction too late? Of course, he has got that soft option Michelin front tyre on now, which certainly will be lacking the stability and the agility of. Went for that hard option front. Crutchlow will still have a little bit more life in that front tyre. Back up into the podium place. This would be his first ever MotoGP podium. Of course, he's dropping into the 212. Well, he'll be proceed with caution for these guys, because those front tyres have just absolutely started to destroy themselves. You know.
Back at the front, the nerves are beginning to jangle. The fingernails are being bitten to the quick. And a lap to go. 5.403 kilometres, 3.357 miles. Touch coming out of turn 5 with 1.5 laps to go.
Valentino Rossi crosses the line to start the final lap.
To end the drought for British motorcycle racing, that last win, Barry Sheene in 1981.
Lucio Cecchinello, there can't be a more nervous man in the entire planet than Lucio Cecchinello. He said all along that he needed to race that extra hard rear tyre. Gambled, he rolled the dice on the grid. He came to the grid with that extra hard option. We thought he was going to race it. He switched at the last minute to that red banded hard option tyre. Has that been? See now, right with.
Down at 12 and 13, when they crossed the line there would be 2 laps to go. Probably here Rossi closing up on him. Rossi does close on 13, flick it through 14. They race up to turn 1. Here comes Rossi.
Holds the lead going through the first corner. Valentino Rossi hugging his back wheel. Rossi so quick through this first sector. Will he have a look on the inside at turn 2? Rossi.
We knew he wouldn't give up without a big fight. Rossi closes once again through 3 and 4. Can he get a slipstream? Try and get out of the slipstream on the brakes into turn 5. Here we go. 93 against 46. Rossi on the brakes.
Back on board with Rossi.
I think they are right with that, Matt. I only checked the. I can only check the first four rows. I apologise.
No, absolutely, mate. We said that you're eagle-eyed as always. You have kind of eyes in the back.
Going for the line through turn 6. Here we go. Under intense pressure as lead down to under 2 seconds. Rossi has found nearly 3/10 again.
Here comes Rossi on the inside. Valentino Rossi has got up the inside. He's up the inside of Rossi. Oh, Rossi just holds firm. Rossi's through the gravel. Rossi's going to win the race. Valentino Rossi wins the Dutch. What a dramatic. Rossi is the winner.